Hello, thanks for joining us here at Intelligent Controls. I'm Mike. Today we're going to talk about the US5000 battery from Pylontech. The US5000 battery is what we have right here in front of us. But before we jump into the battery itself, let's talk a little bit about Pylontech, the company. Pylontech is one of the largest battery manufacturers in the world today. They were founded back in 2009 as a company dedicated to energy storage. They produce all of their components, their cells, their BMS boards, in-house. This gives them full control over their quality, allows them to fine-tune the performance of their batteries, and results in an excellent product. As of 2022, Pylontech led the world globally in systems shipped for residential battery systems. So enough about the company, let's talk about the battery. The US5000 48-volt battery is a standard rack mount. It has 4.8 kilowatt hours of capacity and a 1C rating of 100 amps. Pretty standard stuff, but when we dig deeper, we start seeing how this separates itself from the pack. So first of all, let's talk about the depth of discharge. The depth of discharge on the US5000 is 95%. This is a little unique in the market. Often you'll see 80% depth of discharge ratings or even 100% depth of discharge ratings. A little word about that. The 80% depth of discharge makes sense for most lithium batteries because 80%, that middle 80% ground, is the happy zone for the lithium ferrophosphate chemistry. As far as the 100% depth of discharge goes, well, you could charge them and discharge them down to 100%, but you probably don't want to because lithium chemistries are not happy with that. I personally am skeptical anytime I see a 100% depth of discharge rating on a lithium ferrophosphate battery. Not so with the Pylontech. 95% depth of discharge is something they're very confident with, and they're so confident that within the last 4 months they actually upped their cycle rating from 6,000 to 8,000 cycles. That's based off real-world, in-the-field data. Not some marketing numbers to make the battery look good on paper. We can confirm this, Pylontech can confirm this. The thousands and thousands and thousands of happy Pylontech customers across the US and globally can confirm this. And that gives you a total of 36,480 kilowatt hours of throughput capacity on your battery over its lifespan. It's about 15, 20 years of expected life out of these batteries. Charging them up to full, discharging them down to 5%, 8,000 times. So enough about that depth of discharge, let's talk about the warranty. The warranty is another area where Pylontech excels. Let's face it, this industry is rapidly moving and growing and changing. And as a result, many battery companies that seemed like a pretty big deal 5 years ago are no longer around or have been bought out. This makes the efficacy of their warranties questionable at best. Not so with Pylontech. As I've said, they've been here since 2009. They show no signs of going away. And on top of that, their warranty, which is 10 years when registered, is non-prorated. This is another pretty big deal. Most battery companies will prorate your warranty, which means that they're going to look at how much capacity has been used out of the battery's effective lifespan. If you're sitting at 50% and you need to warranty your battery, you're only going to get 50% of the value because you've used half of it already. Our experience with the batteries has been excellent. We've been working with Pylontech for many years and recently have signed on to be their distributor for the North American market. We've serviced maybe 1,000 or so systems, and our experience with the failure rate is incredibly low. I would say less than 1% to 2%. Full disclosure, this is not the cheapest battery out there, but when calculated out over its lifespan, it does come out to be one of the most economical options available as you get many, many years of full use out of it. The next thing to talk about is the BMS. The BMS, which takes up about this much of the front half of the battery, is the industry standard. Now, BMS is a battery management system. For most BMSs, they're not really managing anything. We see a lot in this market that the BMS effectively acts just as a kill switch. They're to shut operation down if parameters get outside of spec. If we're dealing with voltage imbalances, adverse temperatures, crazy inrushes of current, a BMS is just going to close the gate, turn the battery off, prevent damage. Pylontech actually takes a step further than that and manages the battery, particularly a string of battery if you're using multiples connected in communication, to optimize performance. The master battery will actually communicate a lot of what's going on in the subsequent batteries up to your inverter or your connected system and allow optimization of charging, discharging, allow individual batteries to go online or offline based on the conditions, such as, say, temperature, without interrupting total operation. The BMS then makes all of this information available via CAN bus or RS485 for modern closed-loop communications with a variety of the best inverters available on the market. Victron, Solarc, Schneider, etc. Often, when dealing with high-end inverter systems, the battery is not the smartest part of the system, which is unfortunate because the battery is the one component that is affected by everything. Power comes in, power goes out, it all touches the battery. With a Victron system, which, as you can see from the blue boxes surrounding me, is largely what we work with, Pylontech batteries are a match made in heaven. Utilizing Victron's DVCC function, the battery takes control of the whole system, and with Pylontech's, they do it flawlessly. The battery is actually going to control what rate it wants to charge at, what rate it wants to discharge at. It's going to let us know what the highest temperature and the lowest temperature is of any of the modules, rather than just giving us an average, along with high and low cell voltages, fully communicate any alarms and such. Now, under normal operating conditions, you can hook up 16 of these batteries in a parallel communication string. You want them to be in communication because it's the 21st century and closed-loop communication is how we communicate with the inverter and make sure your system is robust and safe. So yeah, 16 of those in parallel. However, if you want to get crazy, you can pull out a low voltage combiner hub available from Pylontech. And using one of those, you can hook up 96 of these units in parallel for a total of 460.8 kilowatt hours. Now that right there should ring some bells. This battery is not just for residential use. While it makes a great residential battery, 3 or 4 of these is great for a off-grid home. However, if you're looking to take things to the next level, Pylontech has designed this to fit seamlessly into industrial or commercial applications where you need a lot of power and you need it to be reliable. Finally, we're going to talk about potentially the coolest feature that maybe takes a little bit of understanding, and that is the backwards compatibility that these batteries have with older models. Now, backwards compatibility in this case means 2 things. First, the firmware. Pylontech is committed in all future firmware updates for the life cycle of this battery, 15 plus years, to making sure that any new units coming out are backwards compatible with their software with the older batteries. Which means that if in the future you would like to extend the capacity of your bank, or if you have an issue with one of your units and you need to replace it, a new battery will seamlessly integrate into your existing system. You just plug it in on top, and we're going to call that the master battery at the top of the string connected to the inverter, turn it on, good to go. Now, the second area of backwards compatibility, which you may have picked up on, is the fact that you can add capacity after the fact. Now, due to the nature of electricity in a parallel connection and the way that a lithium battery loses capacity as it ages, this is generally a big no-no in the industry. Actually, it's kind of like buying a car that won't let you change the tire. For most batteries, if your battery goes dead, everything else that was bought and operated with that battery is now not dead, but you can't use it with anything else because they're now sitting at a 90% capacity versus 100% capacity. Not only is that going to limit the system efficiency if you put a 100% capacity battery in there, it might actually lead to dangerous voltage and current rushes in between the batteries as they are not in balance with each other. We will also talk further about that on a later video, but for now, just keep that in mind. These make a robust system. You can service them, you can add capacity later. Combine that with the fact that you can effectively hot swap damaged units, and you have a system that has no downtime, is easily serviceable, and has a very, very long service life. Great, truly impressive. All in all, the applications for these batteries are many. Whether you're a residential consumer with a off-grid cabin, if you're looking to add battery backup to your grid-tied solar system, or you are a commercial customer looking to utilize these in hybrid generator systems or etc. We are here to support you in utilizing Pylontech. We've got many years of experience with thousands of systems, and we are happy to answer questions, provide support, troubleshoot issues, process warranties, anything else you could possibly expect. If you're interested in checking these batteries out or adding them to your product line, give us a call, shoot us an email. I am a real person. My email is listed below. I'm happy to answer any questions you have. Mike@icmontana.com. You can also visit icmontana.com and read any of our blog posts or technical articles if you're looking to learn more about Victron, Pylontech, or energy systems in general. Anyhow, thank you for joining us. Have a great day.